Hello everybody. I'm Evan Abrams. Welcome to your video creative challenge here. You're coming to the end of the day on Adobe Live. Thanks for being with me. Thanks for hanging out. Good to see so many people in the chat. Rob, Laura, RB, Umacorn. Hello. It's going to be good. We are coming hot off the heels of Adobe Max last week. So all of this week, I will be challenging you to use some of the newer features in Premiere and After Effects. So lots of new stuff here in the video apps. So we're going to kind of get to them one little bit at a time, challenge you to play around with all of them. And today, as you can tell by my giant headphones, we're going to be using the Remix feature in Premiere to change the length of our audio. And then I'll talk you through the process of arranging your clips and getting those to fit with the new audio so that you can get things that are very audio-driven, audio-focused, and kind of chop them down based on the duration of the audio that you've got. So hopefully that's going to be enjoyable. Let's jump over to the screen and see what we're actually talking about here. Just hit that. So here in front of me, I have a 30-second version of what this would be now. We're going to hope that we're going to hear playing back the audio here. Some chill vibes with some manta rays. Graceful but poisonous. Hopefully that's a soothing way to to wrap up your days. Now, this is the 30-second version. We are going to remix it into 15, chop it down, remix it again into a 10. And a lot of this is going to rely heavily on our fabulous remixing feature that we're going to play around with. So what we're going to be doing is step one, let's import our footage. Let's get everything in here that we need. If you don't have footage, if you don't have stuff to play with, well, don't worry, we've got you covered. There's a link in the description down there to get your starter files where you will find this folder with a lovely image in here. And that image will take you to all of the links that you would like to get some stingrays and some bubbles and some slow motion underwater. It's going to be fantastic. So Andrew's done a great job of hooking us up with this, putting it all together. And these are all free from Adobe Stock, part of a lovely kind of series. So grab those, pull them in. And when you've put them all into a folder, what we're going to do is we're going to use the newer importing features in here. So we're going to come over here to import up at the top. So we are looking at the import zone. We are going to navigate to the file that contains all of your stuff. I'm just going to shrink this down. So if you navigate to a folder, you're going to see previews of all the things that we want to bring in. And then I'm going to highly recommend that you have new bin checked and you have create new sequence checked. And this is going to be 30 seconds, good version. And what we're going to do is just select them in the order that you'd like them to perhaps appear in this new sequence. So we would start with maybe this establishing shot here, and then we would probably dive into, let's see, maybe we go for, this one will be the end. But let's say we're going to cut to this particular manta ray here, and then maybe we'll go for a close-up coming at us, and then we'll go for maybe a top down here, maybe one with a couple of them in the frame. And then this one is the manta ray swimming away. So away it goes. And then we look back up at the bubbling surf above us. And that's kind of our narrative. And you can see down here at the bottom, we've got the order that they're going to be brought in. 1, 2, 3, and so on. All right down there. Now, once we hit import, a little magic is going to happen in the background. It's going to open up this particular sequence that we've just created. If you come into your project, you're going to find the various bins that we have set up for these. We've created a new bin full of the folder of things, and it's going to put it in whatever folder you happen to have open at the time. So you can end up with things nested inside of things, but that's what we're doing. So we're going to bring in our stuff like this. And if we're remixing audio, we got to get some. We got to go get some audios. So I got my essential sound window open. You can go window, grab your essential sound right here. And I'm going to go over to browse. And I've, of course, typed in chill because I'm looking for only the chillest of vibes in here. And I grabbed in chill travel vlog, which kind of fits. And we're going to just kind of audition these things. You can play them through here. Maybe that's what you're after. Maybe this is something that you're looking for. Grab something out of here, play around with it. If you want to license it, it's one click right out of the Premiere interface to do that. Let's see. I'll go with the one that we went with here, just so we're kind of replicating one for one. I'm just going to drag it down here in the timeline, right? Now, we want to start with, or at least I like to start with the longer version of things. So if I know that we're going to do like a minute, a 30, and a 10, I'm going to start with the minute-long one because it's the most work, and it's easier to say from the minute-long to the 30-second one, or from the longer to the shorter, what do we remove? What else do we throw away from this that we can do without? So to start with, I'm going to move my playhead to 30 seconds. I'm going to make sure I have nothing selected. I'm just going to hit M on my keyboard to set a marker here. I find that very, very helpful because things tend to snap to markers. The next thing I want to do, this audio here is too long. It's wonderful, but there's too much of it. And so usually we would have to like shrink it down, or we would have to like cut and chop and chop and mix the thing apart. However, we are going to come over here. You're going to find under what would be the ripple edit tool, hold down on that. We're going to grab the remix tool, and then we are able to simply grab the end of a clip, shorten it down here to the 30-second mark. We're going to see some analysis going on. The clip is being analyzed. Adobe Sensei making some thoughts, having some ideas about this. And if we come in here, see it's done a pretty good job of chopping down the music already. I'm going to play this back. And as you can see, we've got three little edit points that have come in here, right? So we've got edit, edit, edit. The machine has made those edits and spliced this together. And I just want to play for us this part where we know there are edits. Pretty seamless, not going to lie. That is very, very seamless. Now, with the 30-second version, you can see that it kind of overruns, right? We're overrunning that marker. That's a good tip. Make sure that when you're setting markers, if you have a clip selected and you press M, it's going to make the marker on the clip. If nothing's selected, it'll place it on the timeline. Definitely good to keep those things separate for sure. And what we want to do is, I actually want this to be a little bit under. So you can see the target duration was 30. And the remix duration ended up being, I'm just going to drag this out so we can see all the controls. The remix duration ended up being 33:23, right? Which is pretty close. Now, the reason that we're going to get more accurate or less accurate is down to these customization options. So you're going to want to twirl into those. And we can say, well, let's use more segments. I'm going to crank that up to 10. And you can see that, on a scale of 0 to 10, fewer segments versus more segments, we've now got more edit points. And it's a little bit more accurate to where we want it to be. So let me see if I can actually get this to kind of pinch in. Not quite. So other things to pay attention to are the variations. Is it going to be more harmonic or is it going to be more melodic? So these are sort of two parts of a spectrum saying, when making choices about what we want to retain about this audio, which factors are we going to be prioritizing, right? So is it going to be try to match the melody of that original, video, or that original audio, or is it going to try to match with the harmonics of the original? So I'm going to crank this over to one side and see that it doesn't change that much. I'm going to crank it over to the other side. And you can see that actually has quite an impact, that we now have much more sort of dense selections. It's made different choices about what it's going to take from that original audio. So to that end, you're going to want to play around with these so that which vibes you're trying to select from the particular audio. We had about 2 minutes to choose from, and we're only taking 30 seconds, so some deliberate choices need to be made. This will help us dial that in. And then with your segments, fewer segments, right? You can see it's only making one cut, and it's not particularly accurate, right? So we might need to just add some more segments, help it out, give it some tools to work with to try to get us here. Get as close as you can. Right. But that's how we're going to get the audio exactly where we want it. Now, I'm going to cooking show this a little bit to run you through kind of my thought process when editing this kind of a thing. Let's go to that 30-second one that I put together already. And we've got in here, boop, it starts on kind of a beat. So let me just zoom in on the timeline here a little bit, talk you through what I'm looking for when I'm thinking about piecing this together. Overall, assessing the footage, I'm trying to go from wide establishing. So we got big, wide establishing, then get more contextual. So it's almost like we're looking at a place in the water, then we're looking up from that place in the water, then that sets us within the water. So then we are going to now look at things that are in the water, a closer shot of that. Then we're going to come back, ooh, even closer still. Ooh, it's coming right at us, right? And then this is kind of a little montage of that. Then for variety, we're going to get a little bit further. Oh, now it's getting so much further from us. And now the waves themselves are receding. So that's kind of the arc that I wanted to take people on when assessing these clips, right? That's what I wanted to go for. So from that, I have to make decisions about how long we're going to see sort of each of these clips and how we're going to work them. Now, if we play through here, see there's a nice percussive hit towards the start. That's why I kind of start on darkness. And then, even though it's got this doom doom, come in on the second one, not the first one, because the first one just gets you to pay attention, and then the second one is gonna click you into this blue reality. There's kind of a doom, this kind of doom tone that comes in, so we're gonna use that as the hit there. And then there are some of these like doom doom, sort of a little bit higher beats that come in. But at this point, I'm sort of looking for sort of spans of music that go together. So if we were to just say arbitrarily start cutting on beats, right, we wouldn't really be respecting the spans of the music that are here. So this part here, that feels like kind of a complete idea. So it's okay to kind of leave, we're trying to be chill with this. So we kind of want to have longer spans if we can. Then we're kind of moving to another movement or another bar. So those kind of line up. So I'm trying to kind of go with the music in those areas, right? Now this piece here, these three shots are all sampled from the exact same clip. So I'm really just looking through here for little percussive changes. Or maybe just kind of chords that get hit to tell me like, hey, let's move through to the next part. Now, the way I assemble something like this, I'm just going to kind of remove those. So let's say the original clip looked something like this. So there's the first bong. So I'm going to go ahead and use my razor blade tool here, hit C, give it a little chop, hit Y to call up my slip. Is that what we call this thing? Yes, that's the slip tool. And then I'm going to slip ahead a little bit, right? So you need to kind of shorten your clip down. And we're going to take our slip tool and we're just going to slip ahead, right? Slip ahead a bit. So we're going to go here. So we're slipping ahead. Slip further ahead than that. And let's see. So there's another one there. So I'll chop here, grab the slip tool, slip ahead some more. And so now we've got, and those things kind of line up, right? Now, if I go ahead and I just grab those, Command D for me to set our default transition on them, and that'll crossfade between them. So the beat is motivating chops in this that are helping to give a little bit more variety to pieces when we need to kind of lengthen them like this. And now there's definitely a change. Oh, sorry. And we know there's definitely going to be changes because you see these little edit bars down here that are saying this is where the AI has made editing choices here. These can kind of help guide us to say, ooh, if it's making a transition, maybe we need to be doing video transitions there as well. So if you're looking at a remix piece of audio, give that a consider. Think about that, right? And maybe not necessarily having hard cuts or hard, we would say like butt joints, right? This one kind of works out because there was a percussive sound there. But if we're trying to hide that something untoward has happened or something rocky has happened in here, you know, making sure that there's a span that goes over it rather than a hard cut will be helpful for that. The alternative is hanging a lantern on it, right? When we want to say, oh, there is sort of a hard change in here, therefore we will make a hard change visually with the hard change auditorially, and that will sort of go together in the piece. So anyway, those are our thoughts on this. So once you've kind of chopped this up to your heart's content, you've got a 30-second version. We need to make a 15-second version. Oh boy, the bosses come into the office. They're saying, Evan, we got to see that 15-second version. Get that out quickly. This thing's got to go to press soon. So really, I'm just going to go in here and I'm just going to duplicate. We're going to make 30-second copy, right? Open that up. Make sure you've got it open. This happens too often that we duplicate something and then we end up editing the original. Make sure that you edit it and it's in here. In fact, let's go ahead and close out these other ones so that we don't accidentally work on those instead. And what I want to do, set my marker here to 15 seconds, make sure nothing is selected, hit M, and we are going to remix again. I would recommend leaving your customization settings exactly as they are, or as close to them as you can. When you take your gotta hold down, where are you? There's your remix tool under the rate stretch tool, another fun way of sliding your audio and getting it to fit. We're going to grab the end here and drag it in. Now, you can see the calculations went a lot faster because it's already had some thoughts. It's already analyzed this. But it's actually really overrunning, right? At 15, we could try to chop this in like so. We could try to put our put a little crossfade on here, right? We'll see if that is going to be in any way particularly helpful for us, kind of cross-fading this down. And that might work, right? That might get us where we want to be. But if you have to play with it more, right? We say like, don't set our target duration to 14, set it to 12, right? Set it to 13, right? Set it to something close. And then we've got to start working these numbers here to try to get us closer with the tools that we've got kind of on hand. So let's just play around with that and see if we can get, call up our remix tool, give it a pull. Oh, we're getting closer now. Ooh, that's getting further. Oh my goodness. So sometimes what you need to do, right? You need to chill this part down, chill that part down. And it can be really, really, really a game of kind of fighting with this thing to get it as close as you can. Keeping in mind that it's going to be biased towards the kind of endings that were already there on the song, right? And in this case, thankfully, we've got a way to just kind of fade it down. Now, if that doesn't particularly happen, right, you can always think about, oh, well, maybe the music, maybe this has done a good job for most of it, and we just need to put a hard cut here, razor that, and then tag on the end. Having to manually do one small piece of it is not particularly difficult, right? So anyway, we've got something close to our 15 mark. What would we then do? What different choices do we have to make with the video clips to get it where we want it to be, right? Well, if we still want to start with the same kind of story, we have to pick new types of beats that we want to go along with. So you see this part here, I'm going to shorten the pre-run on it. It's 15 seconds long. We don't have a lot of frames to deal with. And so because it doesn't have that double beat at the start, we're going to come in here. And then this is definitely, right? This movement is definitely done here. So we'll... And then we want to figure out, all right, when are we coming out of this? So do-dee-doo. So probably on the last one of those. So see, right? Or maybe you want to do on the first one of those, right? So you really got to we're making choices in here. Let's go on the second one. And we have to start sliding these things around. But we're also going to have to say, probably not all of the clips are going to fit in here, right? We might have to get some of them out of there. Now, what we must do, right? I tend to think in bookends, right? Well, okay, if this is automatically going to be a bookend for us here. Let's bring that in. That's why I tend to edit with it up on a nice top layer like so, and then we'll probably scrunch that in, and then we're really just fixing in the middle. So if we go to an already finished one, we're coming up on 520 here. So we're going to come into the finished 15-second version, right? What I've done is I've scrunched in, I've removed a couple clips, but everything else has really just been scrunched onto new beats to maintain the same narrative, right? So that's the idea. And then if we go to the 10-second one, you see the 10-second one doesn't even have any crossfades within it because we have to jump faster through that. So even the type of editing will probably shift between these things. You'll be making different stylistic choices to conform. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully you're comfortable with the remix tool, because I challenge ye, please use these soothing clips that have been provided, grab some music, chop it together. But what I want to see is a 30, a 15, and a 10 made out of this, trying to maintain the same type of narrative throughout, the same type of flow of the piece, right? Using similar clips. Maybe you got to throw some away. Maybe you're going to keep all of them. Maybe you can try to pack them all in. But when you're done with that, I want to see it. I want to have a look at these things. So when you have a thing completed, I want you to go Window up here. You go Window, and I want you to go down to Frame IO. A, B, C, D, E. Hold on. Review with Frame IO. Starts with an R. So I'm going to pull that open. And what I'd like you to do is maybe go ahead and start a new project in here. So you can twirl this down and say Add Project. Give it a wonderful name, right? I've got 2 excellent projects going already. Now, what you're going to do is, with your current thing selected here, I want you to go to Upload. You can say Active Sequence. Click on that. It's going to give you some options. So what's its name? What kind of preset do you want to use? Web 1080 is usually pretty good, so I'm going to stick with that. Give me the whole sequence, unless you've got in-out segments that have been blocked off. Give me the whole sequence if you can. Then we render it to somewhere physically on the hard drive, right? And usually it's going to be sending it to the scratch disk of the project, or in my case, I've picked the custom folder, so it's going to hang out right next to where I've stored all my clips. You can either keep the rendered file. If you've already got markers out in the space, you can send them out as comments, and auto versioning is great if you're sending out many versions. And then we just go ahead and click Upload. Now, what's going on? It's going by so quickly. It's going to open up Media Encoder, render the thing off, and then automatically send it up. It's going to send it up into the space here. So now we've got this bad boy sent up into the cloud. Now, you still have to share it with me. I still want to see it. So please come in here. These 3 dots here. Share for review. If you go ahead and click Share for review, that's going to give you a link. Then you can send this link. You send it to anybody. They open it up. They're going to be able to comment right on the thing. So they can tell you did an excellent job, or move this here, or move that there, or other good affirmations. But copy that link, right? Once you got that link, copy it down. And now I want you to come over, and I want you to join us over here on Discord. Come over to the Premiere Discord and jump into the DCC feedback. Drop us a link down here so that I can see what you're doing. I can see what you're working on. If you're watching this live, if you're watching this within the week that it's gone up, get it on there. I'm going to try to get some thoughts on anything that comes at us in there. Tag EC Abrams on it. That's who I am on there. And so that I can see the kind of works that you're putting up. You can also, if you are so inclined, you can share your entire project out of Frame.io by going up here to Open Share Options, right? You can learn much more about sharing things here, or you can add project members right into here. So that'll be great. Now, what would it look like if I were to open it up and comment on it? Well, it'll look a little something like this. If you open up a clip that shows up, I love this kind of feature where notice that it's playing up here and it's also playing down here, which is pretty great. And if I want to leave a comment in here, chill vibes, wish I were there, right? And then just add that, puts a nice little green thing on there. So we know at this time we're keen on seeing this particular comment here. So there's no ambiguity about what someone is talking about when they have particular thoughts about an edit. It is wonderful. So just to review, what have we been doing? We've imported a bunch of clips. We've gone ahead and brought you into the interface here to grab your remix tool. We've pulled some audios from Essential Sound. We remixed them into 30 seconds, 15 seconds, 10 seconds. We talked about some strategies about moving the clips around when you have to adjust from a 30 seconds to lower and lower, and hopefully maybe working that backwards to go the other way. But hopefully these are some good ideas to get you started working with the remix tool, working clips around, get some reps in, get some practice with this, and at the very least, enjoy kind of undulating around in a lagoon with these floppy buddies. These wonderful clips from Adobe stock that are a lot of fun to kind of work with. I've said it before, I'll say it again. You know, we're here all week. I'm going to be back here 5 o'clock every day this week. Let's look at here. So we'll be examining more parts, more of the new things in Premiere, lots of stuff from Adobe Max that we want to look at. We got updates to the titling. We're going to look at some gradients. We're going to look at different matte effects, cropping things using shapes. And on Friday, we're going to be talking about stuff in After Effects, so come around for that. So I hope you're with us every day of the week if you can, here, 5 o'clock Eastern Time. Different times at different places in the world, but for me, it's 5 o'clock. So I hope I see you here tomorrow. I hope I see what you've created up on our Discord. Please, please, please post the stuff up there, and I'll be able to comment right on the time code so that I can have thoughts about it. So thanks, everyone, for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow for more excellent things here on Adobe Live. All right, bye for now.